This one sentence sells digital products faster than anything because for most creators, the problem isn't your product, it's your message. You've built something real. You know it helps people, but if your audience can't instantly understand what it is, who it's for, and why it matters, they move on. Meanwhile, I've seen creators with tiny audiences quietly make six figures, while others with massive followings still can't figure out how to sell. And the difference? One sentence. A sentence that gives people total clarity and makes them want to buy. In this video, I'm going to help you write your sentence. A sentence that helps you finally start making real money from your digital product, whether it's a course, a program, or something brand new. You'll learn how to make your audience feel seen, why scattered messaging is killing your sales, and how to describe your offer in a way that makes people think, wait, I need to buy this right now. So get ready to take notes and let's break this down step by step. Now, one of the clearest ways to know if your messaging is working is to think about a story. Most people can watch a movie, a TV show, or hear a story and follow it from beginning to end without confusion, without guessing what's going on. And unless it's a psychological thriller, that clarity is by design. That's the level of understanding your audience should have when they come across your offer. There's a book that broke this open for me, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. And in it, he explains why great messaging works just like a great story. It makes people feel something, it gives them direction, and it's instantly clear who the story is about. So today we're going to use that framework to build the one sentence that will sell your digital product faster than anything. But before we dive into crafting your powerful one sentence, let me quickly show you the map we'll be using based on Donald Miller's story brand framework, which essentially argues that all effective stories, even marketing messages, follow a predictable pattern. And when you see this pattern and you go back to popular movies that you've watched, you're going to realize that it's everywhere. And when you begin to use this pattern, your audience is going to instinctively understand exactly what you're saying and engage. So there are 7 key elements to this framework that you need to understand. A character, this is your customer, has a problem. This is the obstacle that your character is facing. And meets a guide, that's you, who gives them a plan. You need a clear, simple path to overcome their problem and calls them to action, what you want them to do next, that helps them avoid failure, what's at stake if they don't act. We're going to walk through these elements one by one, and for each, I'll build out my sentence focused on helping content creators like many of you watching, and then I'll ask you to think about how that element applies to your digital product and your specific audience. By the end of this video, you'll have your own powerful sentence that's going to amplify your marketing messaging in all of your content, your website copy, and everywhere you speak online so that your audience clearly understands how you help them reach their goals. So let's start with the absolute foundation, your character. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they try to sell a digital product is they talk like they are the main character. They'll say things like, I did this or how I built this, but your audience doesn't truly care about you until they believe you understand them. Your product is not about you, it's about them. The sentence we're building today starts with this single decision. Who is this really for? Who is the character of the story? I want you to get specific here. I don't want you to think of a vague, my niche kind of way. Who is this person sitting at their screen wondering if your product is actually going to solve their problem? If you don't name them clearly, they'll scroll right past you. And so you have to be specific when you first imagine who they are. So for my sentence, since my goal is to help content creators with their digital products, my character is a content creator who's poured hours into making a digital product, or it could even be a content creator who's never created a digital product. So if you're a content creator watching this, let me know in the comments. That tells me I'm reaching the right people with my example. Now it's your turn. I want you to pause and think for a second. Who is the one specific person you created your product for? If you're a fitness coach, it's not just people who want to get healthy. Is it busy new moms struggling to find time to exercise? If you sell Notion templates, it's not everyone who uses Notion. Is it freelance writers overwhelmed by project management? If you teach sustainable gardening, is it urban dwellers with small balcony spaces wanting to grow their own food? Get that specific. That's the first part of your sentence. Write down who your character is, and once you know who they are, we can start talking about what's keeping them stuck. And so now that you've identified your character, the next thing we need to figure out is this. what's the real problem they're dealing with? And to do this effectively, we need to understand that problems operate on a few different levels. Most creators initially focus on what Donald Miller calls the external problem. This is the obvious surface level challenge. For example, someone might say their external problem is I need more leads for my business, or I need to learn how to use this software, or I need to lose weight. But if you stop there, your messaging will be shallow because underneath every external problem, there's an internal problem. And this is how that external problem makes your customer feel. It's the frustration, the self doubt, the insecurity, the annoyance. So the person who needs more leads might feel internal problem, anxious about the future of their business, and incompetent because they can't attract clients. The person who needs to lose weight might feel internal problem, unattractive, lacking energy, and frustrated with themselves. And often there's also a philosophical problem. This is about a bigger sense of what should or shouldn't be. This is about moral obligations. The philosophical problem might be hardworking entrepreneurs shouldn't have to struggle just because they don't understand complex marketing. For the person wanting to lose weight, it could be people shouldn't be made to feel ashamed of their bodies or believe that good health is impossibly complicated. When your messaging taps into that deeper internal frustration and sometimes even the philosophical injustice, it resonates much more powerfully because the person really understands that you can empathize with them because you really do understand the problem. You're not just solving something that's on the surface, you're validating their feelings and aligning with their deeper values. So, for my sentence, my character is a content creator who's poured hours into making a digital product. Their external problem is they have no sales. Their internal problem is they feel frustrated, defeated, and maybe even like a failure because no one is buying it, making them doubt their expertise. And the philosophical problem could be creators who share valuable knowledge shouldn't have their work going unrewarded simply because they don't know how to message it effectively. My sentence aims to capture that internal feeling. A content creator who's poured hours into making a digital product, but is frustrated and losing confidence because no one is buying it. This phrasing directly addresses the internal problem. And please, once again, let me know in the comments if you feel this way about your digital product not selling, because once again, that's letting me know, am I on the mark with my messaging or is it off? Now, for your sentence, think about your character in these three levels. What is their obvious external problem? What's the tangible thing that they're having a problem with? And then ask yourself, how does that make them feel? That's their internal problem. Is it frustration? Is it fear or doubt? And then ask yourself, is there a philosophical problem? Is there a larger sense of what's wrong or unjust that your product helps fight against? Now, pause for a moment and jot those down for your customer. Now, while your one sentence might not explicitly state all three, the problem you do state should be deeply informed by that internal feeling and, if possible, hint at that philosophical. When you craft the problem part of your sentence, aim to voice the frustration they might not even know how to articulate. For example, instead of a fitness coach just saying, my external problem is my clients want to lose weight, they tap into the internal. I help busy moms who feel defeated and exhausted by post-pregnancy weight that just won't budge despite trying everything. The external problem is the post-pregnancy weight. The internal problem is a defeated and exhausted mindset. The Notion template seller for freelance writers, instead of need to organize projects, which is external, might try, I help freelance writers who are constantly stressed and overwhelmed by project chaos, fearing they'll drop the ball with clients. The internal is stressed, overwhelmed, fearing. The sustainable gardening teacher for urban dwellers might rather say, I help urban dwellers who feel disconnected from their food and doubt they can make a real impact on their health or the environment with their limited space. So you see how we take it, and instead of just focusing on the surface level, we go right into the bigger picture of how it makes them feel, which does carry the ideas of the surface level problem inside of it. So when your audience hears you articulate their deeper internal problem, they'll feel like you understand them. They'll feel seen. That's when they truly lean in and believe you have the solution. So take a moment right now, pause and write down the primary problem your character faces. We're giving voice to the frustration they might not even know how to articulate. And when they hear it, they'll feel understood. That's when they lean in. So now you've got your character and you know exactly what problem they're facing. But here's where the messaging often breaks down. Many product creators unintentionally position themselves as the hero of the story. They talk about their journey, their struggles, their victory, and listen, it's natural. You figure things out. But in a sales conversation, your customer doesn't care about your transformation as much as they care about their own. They don't need another hero. They need a guide, someone who gets it, who's been there, or who has the expertise but is now focused on them and their success. In the sentence we're building, this is where you come in. But you come in as the experienced guide because they're the hero. They're Frodo. They're Gandalf. So for my sentence, I position myself as the guide by saying, I help. Just that simple. We want to show empathy and demonstrate authority. So I help a content creator who's poured hours into making a digital product, but is frustrated because no one is buying it. That I help or I show or I teach signals you are the guy. Now for your sentence, you have the experience or the solution. How do you introduce yourself as the one who can help your character with the specific problem? The fitness coach isn't the hero who lost 100 pounds, though that might be part of his backstory. They are the guide who says, I show busy new moms. The Notion template seller is the guide who says, I provide freelance writers. The gardening teacher is the guide who says, I teach urban dwellers. This is the simple part. It's usually I help, I show, or I teach, or my product name helps. So go ahead and add this to the beginning of your sentence because it clearly positions you or your product as the guide for the character and the problem that you've defined. When they trust you as the guide, that's when they're ready to hear your plan. And this is another part that a lot of creators fumble. They start talking about their method, their course, their product, but they make it sound so complicated because they know every little step, every little pitfall that the person has to avoid. And they want to make sure that they just share everything they can with them in one setting, but they don't realize that they're confusing them and overwhelming them with features, modules, and every tiny detail. And what happens? The customer walks away more confused than before. Remember this, people do not buy what they don't understand. Confusion kills conversions. So if you want your digital product to actually sell, your audience needs a plan they can follow, and it has to feel doable. It has to feel clear and simple. So 3 to 4 steps are perfect. Anything more than that, and you're in the land of confusion. I need to give my content creator a simple plan. My plan might be teaching them a 3-step messaging framework. It's concise and implies a clear process. So my sentence now looks like this. I help content creators who've poured hours into making a digital product, but are frustrated because no one is buying it by teaching them a 3-step messaging framework. Now, think about your product. What is the simple, clear plan or process your customer will follow? For the fitness coach helping busy new moms, the plan could be with a 15-minute daily workout routine and simple meal prep system. For the Notion template seller helping freelance writers, the plan might be to set up their Notion template, organize their projects, and start writing. A simple 3-step plan doesn't have to be anything amazing. It just needs to show people how to get from where they are to where they want to be. Now, this brings us to the next part. After you have your plan, you need to give them a call to action. You know who your character is, you're specific about their problem, you've positioned yourself as the guy, and you've shown them the clear plan. But unless you call them to action, you will not make any sales. Now, your call to action needs to be clear, it needs to be bold, and you need to do it without flinching. Because if you don't believe in your product, why should anyone else? And this is where a lot of creators freeze because they don't want to come off salesy or pushy. So they just kind of trail off with the we anyway. If you're interested, maybe check out the link. And then they wonder why nobody's buying. What works is a confident call to action that tells the buyer what to do and implies the beginning of their transformation. Instead, it's about articulating what taking action enables them to start doing because of your plan. It's the verb that kicks off their success. So for my sentence, after presenting the 3-step messaging framework, the call to action describes what the plan helps them do. By teaching them a 3-step messaging framework to clarify their offer and attract ready-to-buy customers. This shows the immediate impact of the plan. Now, for your sentence, after you state your plan, what does that plan empower your character to do? The fitness coach with the 15-minute daily workout routine and simple meal prep system to reclaim their energy and body confidence. The Notion template seller using the client clarity kit template to organize their projects and free up an hour each day. The gardening teacher through a step-by-step balcony bloom method to successfully grow their first 5 types of vegetables and herbs. So pause and think. What is the immediate actionable result of engaging with your plan? Add that to your sentence. You're not forcing it, you're guiding them to take that first crucial step by showing what it does. And when that's clear, the next thing they imagine is the ultimate success, the desired transformation. Let's talk about the reason people actually buy. They want to imagine the win. They need to see themselves living on the other side of the struggle. This is the success part of our sentence. It's the ultimate positive outcome, the dream outcome. They're not just buying your PDF, your course, or your template. They're buying the transformation they hope that it leads to. So in this final part of the sentence you're building, you paint that picture of success. You help them see what life looks like when their problem is solved, not in vague terms like freedom or happiness. Be specific about the transformation your product offers. So for my sentence, the success of my content creators are to clarify their offer and attract ready to buy customers so they can finally make consistent sales from their digital product. This is the ultimate win they're after. So now my full sentence looks like this. I help content creators who've poured hours into making digital products but are frustrated because no one is buying by teaching them a 3-step messaging framework to clarify their offer and attract ready to buy customers so they can finally make consistent sales from their digital product. And you can see everything that we've talked about in that sentence now. So for your character and your product, what is the ultimate success? What is the thing they really want? For the fitness coach helping busy new moms, it's to reclaim their energy and body confidence so they can feel strong and healthy and present for their family. For the Notion template seller, helping freelance workers to organize their projects and free up an hour each day so they can take on more clients and scale their income without burnout. For the gardening teacher, helping urban dwellers to successfully grow their first 5 types of vegetables and herbs so they can enjoy fresh organic produce and a deeper connection to their food. So pause and write down your ultimate success your customer will achieve. Because when people see themselves inside the result, they lean forward, they click, and they buy. Because now you're not just selling a product. You're offering a better version of their life. And that's the power of this one sentence. Now, this next part is not necessarily included in the sentence unless you want it to be, but it's definitely important to the overall messaging framework that I'm sharing with you now. And it's avoiding failure, talking about what's at stake. Your brand often uses this as the what happens if you don't motivation. For the one sentence itself, we typically focus on the positive transformation, but it's crucial for overall messaging. So let's flip it for a second because this part matters just as much as the success story. If your audience doesn't understand what's at stake, if they don't understand what happens if they don't take action, they'll often hesitate. This is about highlighting what failure they're avoiding. It's not just about showing them what's possible, it's about gently reminding them of the cost of staying stuck. If success is the dream outcome, then this is the nightmare. And you want to show them what is the worst case scenario they could possibly be in by not taking action and staying in the same place for another year. So for my audience of content creators, failure looks like continuing to pour time into products that don't sell, facing burnout from creating content with no financial return, watching others succeed while their own brilliant ideas gather dust. So for your audience, the busy new mom who doesn't act might face ongoing fatigue, frustration with her body, and missing out on actively playing with her kids as they grow. The freelance writer who stays disorganized might continue to lose income, face client dissatisfaction, and eventually burn out from the chaos. The urban dweller who doesn't try balcony gardening might continue to feel disconnected from their food, spend more on store-bought produce, and miss the joy of cultivation. While this avoiding failure element might not always be explicitly in the one core sentence, it's a powerful undercurrent to your message. Your one sentence offers the path away from this failure. So when you describe your product, you can say, this helps you achieve this success instead of experiencing this failure. So for now, just make a mental note or jot down what is the primary negative consequence your customer is trying to avoid by seeking a solution like yours. Because understanding this helps you articulate the value of the success even more clearly. Your sentence isn't just about selling, it's about helping them make a decision before an action leads to these undesirable outcomes. So, similar to avoiding failure, this transformational identity is often a powerful result of the success rather than a core structural component of the initial one sentence. However, it's still a very compelling layer to add to your overall messaging. And sometimes you can weave this into the success part of the sentence. So, here's where everything you've built in this sentence truly comes together. Because when someone buys your product, they're not just buying a plan or a solution, they're often buying a version of themselves they aspire to become. People want to change, and you're there to help them change. So, your one sentence doesn't just explain the what, it can unlock the who. They want to be someone who doesn't guess anymore, someone who feels confident and in control, someone who is recognized for their expertise or their passion. So, for my audience, the content creator doesn't just want sales, they want to become a confident, profitable digital entrepreneur. So, think about your customer. Who do they become after they use what you built and achieve that success? The busy new mom doesn't just lose weight, she becomes an energetic, vibrant mom who prioritizes her well being. The freelance writer doesn't just get organized, they become a calm, sought after professional known for the reliability and excellence. The urban dweller doesn't just grow vegetables, they become a capable urban gardener connected to nature and their food source. So, as you refine your success statement, consider this identity shift. Your sentence might already imply it, or you can make it more explicit. For instance, my sentence could evolve to I help content creators who've poured hours into making digital products but are frustrated because no one is buying by teaching them a 3 step messaging framework to clarify their offer and attract ready to buy customers so they can finally make consistent sales and step into their identity as thriving online business owners. So ask yourself, what does your customer become? This isn't just a pitch, it's a mirror. And when your audience sees who they can be, that's incredibly compelling. And here's the final shift, and it might be the most important one. Even if you've nailed every part of the message, if you don't embody this, your sentence won't land with its full power. You are not the hero. Your customer is. That means this entire sentence you've built, it's not about convincing someone to admire you. It's about helping them see themselves as the hero of their own story, with you as their trusted guide. This is where so many passionate creators go wrong. They talk about their wins, their system, their results from their own perspective, but none of that matters if the audience doesn't feel like, wait, this is actually for me? I can do this? I can be the hero of my story? This isn't about hiding your expertise. It's about positioning it correctly. You're not Luke Skywalker. You're Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda. You're not Frodo, you're Gandalf. You show up with the map, the tools, the guidance, and your job isn't to impress. It's to guide. It's to be useful, helpful, and clear. So before you finalize your one sentence and use it everywhere, ask yourself, does this sentence make me sound smart and accomplished? Or does it make my ideal customer feel seen, understood, and capable of achieving their goals? People don't buy when they feel impressed by you. They buy when they feel understood by you and confident in themselves. That's what makes them the hero. Your sentence should empower them. So now that you have your full sentence, you can put it all together and you can clearly see how this one sentence gives you a messaging framework that functions like a filter for all of your content, for all of your marketing, for all of your emails, for all of your communication and correspondence between you and your audience, because you understand who the character is. You understand their problem on 3 very critical levels. You understand the external problem, how it makes them feel, and what makes the world right or wrong about this problem. You understand that you are not the hero, that they are the hero, and you are simply the guide. You are Gandalf to their Frodo. You are Haymitch to their Katniss. And you have the plan that you give them and you call them to action. And when they take the action, It ends in success and it avoids failure and it produces this transformation of their identity. The hero returns home and he's completely different than what he was before. And you have to remember that this is the transformation that you're actually offering to people. This is what they're buying. They're purchasing the moment when they return a completely different person, having overcome that problem that they were facing. If you got value out of the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And as always, take care, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.